YouTube, what's up? Back again for another daily fishing video here on Andrew Upshaw Fishing. Guys, today we're going to talk about the dumpster fire over at Major League Fishing. You know, when I didn't think it could get worse, it has. You know, last week we did a video talking about the changes for 2024 going to catch, weigh, release, and then 2025 cutting an enormous portion of the field, almost half the field. And that's big news. I know some people don't see it as big news because it only affects 30 people and there's, millions of people who fish and all this stuff. But when you talk about the top percent of fishermen and everything that went down in this whole debacle, from anglers shifting from bass and FLW to Major League Fishing, and now it's just tanking uncontrollably. I'll be the first to tell you, I feel so bad for the anglers because now, don't get me wrong, there's some anglers there that had ill will. They had the wrong intentions. You know, they were more acting out of spite because they didn't like Bassmaster. And I understand that. I've been in situations like that where I didn't like an organization or a person or whatever. And I understand you have these temptations to act that way and to try to hurt somebody to make you feel better. But that's not really how things work. You know, that's not how things get better. You never can have success building something out of spite. And I've said it from day one. That this is how this was going to go. There's videos, a lot of videos, where myself, Todd Castledine, Bradley Hallman, among others, Luke Duncan, we all talked about how this was going to go, how they were going to change things out from under these anglers. And the reality is don't get me wrong, there's a handful of anglers, and I'm going to say, I'm not even going to give a number to it. There's a handful of anglers that they had the wrong intentions. But there was also a big handful of anglers that were given an extremely short notice on making a decision, going to Major League Fishing, and they had to make the bet because they felt like they didn't have a choice other than to go with that bet. And they were getting a lot of pressure from sponsors. They were getting a lot of pressure from anglers. And quite honestly, some of them were told false information, but they were only given like a week or a few days to make a decision on whether or not they were going to leave Bass and go to MLF. And these guys, based off the information that they had, putting food on the table for their families, saving the money to pay on entry fees because they were told no more entry fees ever, that didn't work. And now they're in this position. They're making these big cuts. Well, the anglers have officially fought back. They've created an angler protection committee. Now, there's a couple things that go on with this. I've been a part of a committee like this, and I've talked about it maybe once or twice, kind of vaguely, but I started, undoubtedly, and unfortunately, I helped start a movement in FLW when I was there, trying to help get our pay balance back out because our entry fees were going up, our payouts were going down. They were making a lot of cuts. They're paying less back. I mean, there was a lot of things going on. And honestly, it was between me and a couple other anglers. And I don't want to mention their names because honestly, I don't know if they've ever even talked about it. But it was me and a couple anglers, and we kind of got together and we were talking about it. And I'm like, man, this is really terrible. Like, what can we do to make this better? And we created this whole deal. And instead of including the general public, we just got together as anglers of part of the organization, and we created a petition to try to make something happen, to try to get some change, and to try to get a voice beyond what they had already created, to just try to talk about what the little guy wanted, like what would make it better, make it smoother, and try to just have some input because we are that passionate about what was going on. We wanted FLW to be successful. So we worked really, really hard. And quite honestly, we were working with Kathy Fennell. She was the president of FLW at the time. And I think she might even be the president of MLF now. But we were working with her, and she was great to work with. I had countless phone calls with Kathy. And honestly, we got so many things done. We got on a really good page with the anglers and the organization. And then, of course, everything came crumbling down when they sold FLW to Major League Fishing. But the comparative situation here is the Angler Protection Committee created by the Bass Pro Tour anglers. Now, they sent out a press release, and it's really funny because they sent it to Bass Fan. This particular Bass Fan, and I love Bass Fan. I love John Johnson. He's one of my favorite people. But it is also owned by Major League Fishing. I don't know if anybody knew that, but it's owned by the same owner of Major League Fishing. So it's all owned by the same group. Okay? But MLF, or the Angler Protection Committee sends this this press release out, and they say, "Hey, we want change." And I'm gonna read it real quick. And I'm not gonna read the whole press release because it's a kind of a bigger press release. We have recently received a proposal outlining plans from MLF. We are currently in the process of carefully reviewing various aspects of the proposal. The anglers, passionate about the growth and success of the league, agree that adjustments in the business model are necessary and are eager to work towards an agreement that assures everyone's continued prosperity. Having built their careers with the league, the majority of anglers are original founding members who possess a genuine commitment to the continual advancement of MLF platform. As we embark on this review process, our primary goal is to establish a stronger and more fruitful relationship with the league that can endure for years to come. Okay, the very first issue that I see is this is an 80-man MLF Pro Tour roster, Bass Pro Tour roster, okay? All it says is a group of anglers have come forward, but it doesn't say A, what anglers, or B, how many anglers. So I'm not saying that it really needs to name the anglers because I know I wasn't named in the FLW stuff that was going down, but I am worried that enough of them haven't gotten behind this deal. It says a group of anglers that claims to have the backing of the majority of the 80-man MLF Bass Pro Tour roster. Okay, I'm curious on the numbers there because how many guys are actually backing this program? Now, do I think it's right? 100%. I 100% back these guys. I think it's the right thing to do. I think it's a good review process to know what exactly is going on and why they're making these decisions because supposedly MLF is by the anglers for the anglers. They support each other. They're part of the ownership group. You would think that they would have the anglers' best interests in mind. Do they though? I don't know. All right, the more I read into this press release, they talk about how great they are and how they've adjusted the payouts and they're doing all these great things. And this is where I get concerned from. And this bothers me to no end. And I'll be honest, guys, I've never bashed and I won't bash a single person. I really try hard not to bash people in here. Like that is an overall goal of mine, is to not bash people. But these anglers have come together in a very professional manner. They haven't gone to social media and blasted this whole deal. Maybe one or two. I mean, you're going to have one or two to do it. But did they really ever say anything that was really that bad? No. They just said they didn't agree with it. And I get that. But the very bottom paragraph of this press release from Bass Fan is the one that concerns me the most. It says, MLF President and CEO Boyd Duckett, who's also a BPT competitor, which I'm going to go into that here in a second, told Bass Fan today that he had no comment on the formation of the APC, which is the Angler Protection Committee, and didn't plan to participate in negotiations with the group. I'll repeat that. He didn't plan to participate in the negotiations with the group. Okay? He said angler issues are routinely addressed through the MLF Anglers Association, a body that's separate from the league and consists of 6 officers, 5 of whom are anglers, and 8 board members, all anglers. So you mean to tell me that these guys have come together, they've got the support of majority of the BPT Angler Committee, or BPT anglers, majority, so that means you'd have to have more than 40. Okay, so if there's 80, you have to have more than 40, would be a majority. And Boyd Duckett, who's also a BPT competitor, will not or didn't plan to participate in negotiations with the group. said, no, I'm good. I'm not going to talk to y'all. Really? Like, you're not going to talk to them? You're not even going to have a conversation with them about it? And be like, hey, man, like, this is where we're at. Like, this is what's going on. Like, nothing. We're not going to even talk to you. Nothing. If I'm the BPT anglers at this point, now, I'm going to go and tell you, I'm going on a limb and say that even though they have the majority, cool, whatever. If they don't have more than 60 guys backing this, they don't have a case. I don't care if the majority is over half. If they don't have over 60 guys committed to this, it isn't going to work. But if it was me, but I'm a different person. I'll be honest with you guys. Like, y'all know me at this point. I drew the line in the sand on Major League Fishing in 2019. I won 2 events that year, by the way. I won Cherokee and Lake Cumberland. I have never fished another Major League Fishing event, FLW event, since 2019. I won 2 that year. Okay, I walked away 100% because it was the right thing to do. Because the deal was is I could not support an organization that did not support the anglers, that didn't have the anglers' best interest in mind, and that would change things out from under them at any given point to better a couple of people instead of just the whole group. I will never support anything that does that, ever. Okay? That's the first thing. The second thing is the fact that you mean to tell me we can't have a conversation? We can't come together? 60 plus guys? If it was me, I would get those 60 guys and I wouldn't show up. That's the only way you make things change, guys. Like, if something is not going to work, or if they're really cutting you back to that extent, and you have the vast majority, I can't even say majority, but vast majority, 60 people, you say, hey, guess what? We're not going to pay your entry fees. Because guess what? They're still paying. These guys are paying entry fees now. They don't get it for free. That's a big misconception here. They are paying to fish with this organization. They are the customer of said organization. If vast majority said, you know what, we're out, we're good luck, I promise you something will change. But they don't have, I'm not going to say they don't have I don't want to say the word, because I know probably maybe some kids are watching this. But you don't have the balls. A lot of these guys don't have the balls to just say no. I don't know why. I dealt with it when we did our FLW angler thing, and it seemed like the higher the level the pro, the less likely they were to support it. And it was always the guys that were mid-tier to, like pretty good or really, pretty darn good. But once you got to their like more elite status or like that really high-level guys, they were terrified to do anything. Terrified. And it's going to be no different in this situation. And that's why nothing is going to change. These anglers could come together. They could try to do anything they wanted to. But if they don't have the support of the highest level guys in BPT, and I'm talking the Jacob Wheelers of the group. Golly, I don't even know all the anglers that are over there. Alton Jones Jr., the young guys, Dakota Ebear. If they don't have those guys supporting it, they have no leg to stand on. Because if those guys aren't sticking their neck out too, it will never work. And I understand where some of them are coming from. They're like, oh man, I don't want to mess my sponsorships up, and I don't want to mess up the league to the point where I can't fish next year. Guys, if they just stood up to the machine, it would stop and it would change. That's how things work. If you want things to change, you got to do something about it. And in this situation, if anglers wanted change, they could make it happen. I don't think they will, though. I really don't. But it tells me everything I need that needs to be told in that last paragraph of that press release on BassFan. MLF President and CEO Boyd Duckett, who is also a BPT competitor, told BassFan that he had no comment on the formation of the APC and didn't plan to participate in negotiations with the group. He fishes the event. The fact that he is the CEO and president of MLF, I guess he is the president, so that means Kathy's not, but I think she's right up there somewhere. He fishes the event and runs everything. I don't know how that's not a conflict of interest to begin with. And people don't see red flags with that? Seriously? I mean, come on, guys. I mean, y'all see the red flags. You got to see the red flags because I mean, they're glaringly obvious in this situation how red flaggish this is. And I know that's not a word, but I just made it up. This is so bad. I feel terrible for these guys. And the fact that they can't even get a sit down, get out of here with that. I'm done with it. I'm done with that. I'm done with this situation because the deal is the anglers, they have a chance right now to make it better if they will stand up for themselves. I'll help them in any way I can. I will help these anglers in any way I can. I will talk about it every day if that's what it means to help these guys. I support these anglers. I support these guys trying to make a difference and make a change for the betterment of themselves, the sport, and everything else in between. Guys, again, if y'all haven't liked my videos, like my videos. Comment below what you think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely off pad here, but I'm not, and y'all know I'm not. You can say whatever you want to. This is not right. And I will call a spade every single time. Guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you on another one.